Hello, my vacuum cleaner chums. How are you today? Got something before refurbishment to go through today. I got it yesterday. It was given to me by my brother-in-law. Apparently it was knocking around the loft of a British Telecom telephone exchange somewhere in Oxfordshire. So he lobbed it in the back of the van and brought it home to me. So it's red. It's got a height adjustment. It's got a height adjustment, which works really well. Yeah, look at that. Smooth. What is it? Well, it's actually more interesting than I first thought. It is 1100 watts for deeper cleaning, variable power, 5 litre dust bag, some sort of stage filtration, a bag full indicator, onboard tools. That looks familiar, doesn't it? It's a Dirt Devil. Look, with its little variable power switch. It's one of these. It is an Electrolux Contour, but badged up as a Dirt Devil. Look at that. Wasn't quite what I had in mind when he said, here, I've got an old Dirt Devil in the van. I thought, oh, this could be something interesting. But it wasn't, it was this. Actually, ignore this. I found this in the shed. This is how it came. Let's do this first before I go and do anything else. So yeah, it is a WDD6110, but as I found out, you take off the W. If you just type in DD6110, Google knows it. So that helped a little bit. Yeah. Apparently, this is from the era after Electrolux sold the rights to the Contour shape. I've been reading up a little bit and people have been telling me bits and pieces about it. When Electrolux had finished with it, they sold it on. And a company called King Clean, based in Japan, China, bought the shape to it. And also to the Turbo Power 2. And I do have a picture of that. I'll try and put it up now. There we go. I don't know how that's going to look on the video. And I do actually have some bags for that in the shed, as I found hunting around for bags for this. I don't have any bags for this. But yes, they bought the rights to it. And so did JMB. Now, I don't know how old you'd have to be to remember JMB. I remember them because we had, and this is what jogged my memory, we had a JMB 800 watt upright that was in the Contour shape. Back when I was a lad, I think I was about 13, 14. It was probably 97, 98. We were in our first house, and then we moved to something called Warrington in Peterborough in 2000, and it was shite, I'll be honest. They're not very good at all. It's basically a Contour, which isn't the best cleaner in the world, let's be brutally honest, but made worse. But J&B did it Hinari also, and I remember those, they had a big stupid HEPA bit on the front. I bet most of those killed themselves. So yeah, we have a cheaper Contour. Look, it's got the on-off switch on the side. The J&B was the same there. I think our J&B had variable power as well. Obviously on the Contour, the on-off switch is also there. What else has it got? It's got a very stiff upper cord hook. A very short cable. I have no reason to believe it hasn't. It isn't genuine. There's its plug. Very cheapy plug. And a stretch hose. Very nice. Look at that premium feel. This isn't a high-end vacuum cleaner at all. This would have been cheap. But it's interesting. It's one of those machines, and I'm guessing it's going to be the early-ish 2000s, because I think Contours were sold quite late, and obviously then the Airstream came out with the same shape, so they probably carried it on for a while. Then they sold all the rights and whatnot. So yeah, it's got to be early 2000s. Let's have a look underneath, and there's a little bit of damage there and a little bit rusty. This is the first thing I checked as soon as I saw the Contour shape, because you can't get Contour brush rolls anymore. I found some on eBay and bought two. One went on the 612E, which we see had gone, and the other one is sat in the porch ready for that Contour that I got from the charity shop a fair while ago now. But luckily this one is perfectly fine, and I'll show you why in a minute. So here's the rest of it. There's nothing really to see here. Should we fire it up quickly? It does have a bit of a squeak. Ooh, I can't stand up, I've not been drinking. It's not nice, let's be honest. Oh, it's such a premium feeling machine. So yeah, it's not brilliant, I'll be honest, but this isn't the first time I fired it up. I did turn it on in the garden early just to check it wasn't going to explode, and the belt hardly turned at all. It does seem to be a little bit better now, but the suction is quite bad. There's probably a couple of reasons for that. Number one, this filter is just a little bit dirty, so we'll take that out. We don't need to use that. Pop that back in there. The bag is actually, from what I mentioned it earlier, the Dirt Devil Turbo Power 2 style, which is wrong for this machine. This machine shouldn't have that bag. Whether that's week 36, 1997, I'm not sure. Again, the Turbo Power 2, Hoover can't have sold it that quickly. It's also broken, which possibly explains the state of this. We try and clean that up later. So that's probably not helping it, neither is the filthy seal or anything else like that. So I don't have any bags for this yet. I did find some. I found on eBay, once typing in the DD6110, not WDD, a genuine brand new set of bags and filters. So they're in the post. And I also found branded JMB, some belts. So they are in the post, but for now I had to find something to fit that, and I didn't fancy wasting a pneumatic HEPA flow, so I found this, a Panasonic. But it fits enough, because all it's got to do is slide over there. And look, that'll do it. That'll do well enough. Don't need to worry about filters too much because it's filthy anyway. Let's see if that improves things a little bit. Much better. However, then I also found these. It's a belt, but it's for the glider and the Airstream. And that's an Airstream / glider. And obviously this was slightly before the brush oil started to work a little bit better as it is now. But since I've got it out and it's not too late to use the machine, let's, if I can set up properly, let's have it off. And just see if we can improve things like this. This is obviously why it was, because I was a bit intrigued as to why a machine like this would be in a telephone exchange. And apparently, They do have a cleaner's cupboard, and they are full of Henrys apparently. There's normally a Henry in each one. In fact, apparently there's some Henrys coming my way. You can't always bring them home. It always depends on where he is and if he's got room in the van. But that would be nice, wouldn't it? But yeah, there is a cleaner's cupboard with probably a Henry in it, but they don't have access to it. And on the more rural exchanges, obviously around here in Oxfordshire there's quite a lot of rural telephone exchanges, people generally just bring in something to use and it just gets used and nothing else really happens, and then it just gets binned really. Or, because no, it can't get binned, that was it. They can't put this sort of stuff in the rubbish because it's very highly regulated. Because it can only be official British Telecom waste. So they just get lobbed up in the loft. And that's where this was. There we go, look, that is the spitting image of an Electrolux Contour brush roller. In fact, if this didn't work, I'd be happyish with that, because the people want these. People need contour brush rolls, and well, these fit the 600 contour, glider, airstream, lots of stuff. Oh, look, a dead spider. But the machine works. I don't think we're going to do that. Now, I've got to get the belt out. And this is, again, very Electroluxy. The 612 was like that. It had a stupid spindle around it. I'll be interested to see just how similar they are under the surface. And if we get the new belt out, look, you'll see there's a little bit of a difference. So we'll fiddle this on. Like I say, if this works, I'll keep the JMB belt sealed. And because I do already have a snifter of somebody who wants this. They've got apparently it matches a cylinder that they've got. It's Mr. Pets and Vacuums. Mr. George has expressed a vague interest in it. I've told him that not to get too excited until I've done it and know it's any good. So, but it looks promising. Haven't got the two small tools, the crevice tool and the dusting brush. I do have an angled dusting brush, but it doesn't fit. It is too small, and all my crevice tools are too long as well. The chances of ever finding one of those that fit this are pretty slim, and I'll be honest, I'm not going to waste my time looking. I did find this though, which is just one of those horrible plasticky extension ones, so that can go on it. Right, let's centre that up. Yeah, that's not horrific. Not horrific at all. Let's see, I'm going to lift that up. It is very cheap. Somebody said to me that it was basically like a Contour but 10 times worse, and I do sort of agree with them. It will be vaguely, oh no, wait, that's wrong. There we go. It will be slightly interesting to see just how different it is deep down. I can't imagine much. Let's be honest. But yeah, for free I'm happy. Like I say, it isn't as bad as I thought. I was hoping for a nice broomy or one of those uprights I did in the mid-90s. Thank God it wasn't a fucking handbag. I hate those things. Ooh, that was a bit creaky. Yeah, the more I have this, the more I'm actually slightly more interested in it, because it's such an unloved machine. I've never seen one in the flesh. I might have rather subconsciously seen one somewhere and gone, oh, look at that. But yeah, it's from the Dirt Devil in the UK. Never really took off. They had a big push in the early 90s, because I've got an Anderson trade guide with the entire range in it. New for 1994. Full colour pictures and whatnot, and they had a big push there. And obviously we've always had the little broom, but the little handbag, the broomy. You still see a couple of those. Tayab's room had one of those, but it broke sadly on it, because the problem with Dirt Devils, they are cheap, horrible machines. They do break. Apparently not much better in the US either. I was chatting to some US collectors, and yeah, they're not brilliant there. And obviously they are coming back now. You can get new Dirt Devil machines, but they're only the name. They're not actually Dirt Devil. Again, it's just some, I think it's TTI again. Right, anyway, let's see how much better that is. Wow! Well, that is much better. That at least works, I would say, well. All they had to do was do that. Change the bag and the belt and the filters, but we'll worry about that later. But then I can see why they didn't, because it's probably the most useless thing for a telephone exchange ever. I don't know if you saw on the film, it has the structural stability of a Dyson DC75 and DC40. Look at that, and that's separated there. I did pop it back in, but just for using it, this is such a cheap thing. I'd have to glue that up, and that's not sitting properly either. Like I say, to get the head down, you can just sort of push, or even just pull back really sharply. See where Dyson stole that idea from. So there we go. First look at an unloved, forgotten vacuum cleaner. It's not what we want to make a massive profit on, really. Just want to save, because if I don't save it, I doubt many other people would. So one day, I'm not going to prioritise it. It will be lovingly restored. I'll have to get rid of that sticker because it's just pointless. That'll just fall off as soon as I wash it. So that'll go. So take one last look at that sticker. Come on. There we go. That'll go, but the rest of it will stay. It's not too bad. So yes, right. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.